Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name's Mike Piroworski coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A Views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Uh-oh. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as we like to say, the fun is all in the trying. Have you been successful thus far today, Mr. Piroworski, in starting your weekend?
No.
Yeah. Me neither. It's been an interesting day. I've been doing media interviews about the election. I've been doing other stuff. Just it's been a busy business day. So it's been profitable. I will say this. It has been a good day. It's just, as I'm anticipating or wishing to start some libations and enjoy my weekend, I have I still got stuff after this. So it is what it is.
Now, Craig, I'm happy you made money today, but you realize you're going to have to share that with the people of New York now.
No, I'm not. I don't live in New York, and I don't plan to live in New York. And if they can, I put it this way: they can try to come and take it.
Well, listen, that'd be a great fight to be the unarmed versus the unarmed. So that'd be weird.
The unarmed versus the. We are not. I am not unarmed in California. I just do not have the quality of arms that you have there in Florida.
Quality or quantity of ammo. Yeah, that's it. The one shot magazines you guys are restricted to have. No, but they receive 1/3 of the funding in New York City's federal funding. It's going to have to increase if they want to get the programs that Zoltan wants. That means money out of your pocket and my pocket.
Well, all I can say is screw the Zoltan.
That's it. Exactly right. I'm with
Look,
you. Yeah.
that sounds like a him problem, not a me problem.
Yeah. The heck with this guy. He gets 2 snaps in a Z formation.
There you go. I like it. All right, hey, let's go ahead and get into the program. But before we do, you know how we do it. We always start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you want some barrels, they've got them. Rifle barrels, pistol barrels for your AR, any caliber you want, any length you want. They've also got handgun barrels. They've got shotgun barrels. Just check them out. They got a whole bunch of kind of barrels, but they specialize, like I said, in AR barrels. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWGholsters.com. Hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you need field gear, tactical gear, web gear, security, fire, law enforcement, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order over at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Just take a moment. Follow the links in the description to this program. Go there. You can find their websites. Go to their websites. Check them out. Spend some money with them. Make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's news programs because there's tons of fun stuff to talk about. As we talked about yesterday, we told you there was an election yesterday, and needless to say, Democrats, well, they're celebrating. Now, it wasn't like this was a midterm election, and usually you expect in a midterm election, the party that currently holds the White House usually takes a few lumps during the midterm election. So this is kind of a midterm election, but it was a special election. There were only elections in various states, right? Only a handful of states, no real congressional races, but where there were elections, for example, was mayor of New York, governor of Virginia, governor of Pennsylvania. And needless to say, I've almost forgot, the special election in California to basically approve specifically gerrymandered lines. Well, let's just say that Democrats won overwhelmingly. In fact, they wound up winning the governor's race in both Virginia and in New Jersey. Virginia, it was It was about what they had anticipated. Everyone anticipated that the Democrat was going to wind up winning. She was really kind of, they painted her a lot as a moderate, and the legislature, or I'm sorry, the legislature, the media really went along with that narrative. But then there was in New Jersey, people really thought that the Chitnelli, the Republican candidate, was really going to do a lot better than he did, and unfortunately, he didn't do that well. And then finally, obviously, everyone knew that Zohran Mamdani was going to wind up being the guy there in New York, the mayor, because, well, let's be honest, he was running against a piece of trash known as Andrew Cuomo, who basically got booted out of the governor's office. So, in essence, now you have a Marxist, communist, let me say, a jihadist Marxist communist now running the city of New York. And let's just say that Democrats, interestingly enough, they see this as a big sign going forward into the future.
You say new Democratic Party. And I can't help but notice that Governor-elect Sherrill is 53 and Governor-elect Spanberger is 46 and Mayor-elect Mamdani is 34. Your party, though, has a lot of people in it who just will not retire. They're in their 70s, they're in their 80s. There's a New York Magazine story about it right now, about all the members of the House and Senate in your party in particular who just won't retire. Is the age of your candidates that won tonight, Gavin Newsom's fairly young himself also, is that also part of what's going on here?
Look, it's not a question of age, because at the end of the day, what people want, right, is they want fighters. The divide right now in our party is not ideological, nor is it age. The divide right now is between those who are fighting and those who are sitting on the sidelines. I reject this idea. There's plenty of older elected officials and older candidates, frankly, who are fighting. And what Democrats want, and frankly, what Americans want right now is fighters. People are going to stand up and use.
So, Mike, I think he's right. The only thing is he left something out, and that what they want is someone who's going to fight against Donald Trump.
Yeah, they want the anti-Trump. That's what they want.
Yes,
they want anti-Trump.
They want people, for example, I'll put it to you, if they have a choice between a pregnant woman who takes Tylenol after the president, just because the president said it's bad for you and it's bad for your baby, and the woman who doesn't take Tylenol because she doesn't need it.
Right. Yeah, they're not smart. And listen, even the old chairman there, he's living in la la land if he thinks he has the answers to the party. It's just they're so torn apart. Listen, Craig, this is their design, right? Let's be clear. First off, there was no surprise Democrat victories anywhere in any election. Okay, none at all. There was no, it's going to be so close to New Jersey. No, it was hope. Is what they had, and it still ended up 13 points difference. There was nobody anywhere had any serious shot at a Republican takeover of any of these Democrat strongholds. That's what they are. They've voted Democrat for so long they can never vote anything else in those districts. Now, federal level is different. We've seen that. They wanted Donald Trump president. A lot of these places that elected Donald Trump president were much redder, a year ago, but not for their regular elections. This again, there was nothing here that was a surprise. This is the Democrats now trying to find positive talking points to make it look like they did something impossible.
Right. And if you looked at the campaigns, whether you had the ultra progressive Mamdani or you had Spanberg and the other candidate, Mayor Milley, both of them were running as moderates. But the one thing that they had in common, or even out in California, they didn't talk about, the point, the idea of making sure you had one man, one vote, making sure that people had equal representation. It was all about beating up on Donald Trump. If Donald Trump wants X, then we're going to give him Y, or we're at the very least, we're going to make sure he doesn't get X. And now Well, the one thing that this may be telling going forward into 2026 is that the way forward is for them is to beat up Donald Trump, because the average Democrat even does not believe in the ultra progressive left wing lunacy. It's kind of funny because they talk about they rejected Republican extremism. Republican extremism like transing the kids. Oh no, wait, that's the Democrats. Oh, open borders. That's the Democrats too. How about massive inflation? No, massive inflation. That was Democrats too. So what extremism is it that they're talking about? I mean, on every, and I don't know how many times we've said this, on every 80-20 issue, Republicans have been on the 80% side. How are we the radical extremists?
We're not. Again, this is their talking points. This is what they're coming up with. They're again trying to be the tail wagging the dog. Oh, look, we took down Trump in all of these locations. No, you didn't. We knew this. Craig, you and I sit here and analyze politics every day. Knew this weeks ago. This was the way this was going to go. We talked about what had to happen to get closer, and it wasn't happening because you can't go in somewhere where and do local politicians. Remember, the national election is much different than your local your local and state elections.
Right.
Local and state elections, people do what they do because that's what their family does, not what they think is right for the country. What's right for your neighborhood may not be right for the country, and vice versa. So this is no victory or anything against Donald Trump. And great, if Democrats want to think that, wonderful. That means it's going to make the midterms even better for the Republican strongholds and for the place where it was close, where they can make up the gap. And for New York City, right, this is about the best thing that could happen to Donald Trump is old Zoltan that can get in there, because he's going to destroy that city. And folks, if you want any proof at all, I'm not looking at a crystal ball. I'm looking at London. All right. Look what happened in London when they took up these kind of policies and put in this type of mayor. They've destroyed that city to where now you see the rest of the country not only asking for conservatism, they wave Trump flags in the UK. Okay.
The only question is, will he destroy it fast enough?
Yeah, because I think now Donald Trump is prepared to withhold some funding, because New York City gets fully 1/3 of their budget from the federal government.
Right. Well, and that raises a question, because one of the problems is going to be is that you have got a mayor there in New York who's basically declared war on Donald Trump. And if you listen to his acceptance speech, his tone, that kind of conciliatory tone that he had in public before. Yeah, no, he ain't got that tone no more.
Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Yeah, he's going nowhere.
We will hold bad landlords to account, because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections, because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed. New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me President Trump, when I say this, to get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
I don't think he's going to have a problem with that.
When we enter City Hall in 58 days, expectations will be high. We will meet them. A great New Yorker once said that while you campaign in poetry, you govern in prose. If that must be true, let the prose we write still rhyme, and let us build a shining city for all. And we must chart a new path, as bold as the one we have already traveled. After all...
Yeah, so Van Jones over at CNN, he didn't receive this this presentation as quite as well. I tried to pull down the video. I couldn't get the video, but I do have the audio of what Van Jones had to say on CNN.
Van Jones calls out Zoran Mamdani for character switch during intense victory speech. CNN anchor Van Jones called out New York City.
Okay, so I wound up just pulling. I thought it was the other audio. I wound up just pulling down the audio of the reading of the story. But anyway, suffice it to say, the point that he was making was kind of what I'd made earlier. It's like, he was a lot of people voted for him because they didn't like Cuomo. And really their thing was, well, is this guy, is he whacked out or is he not? Is he going to be someone that we can work with? And what you got right there was, no, he's not someone, in particular, the business community, or let me clarify that. Employers, he's not someone who employers are going to be able to work with. He's not someone who are property owners are going to be able to work with. He's going to make it very, very difficult. You're going to see a bunch of people who are going to start to divest from their investments there in New York City.
Yeah, here's what I heard throughout his whole speech, Craig, summed up. Not only is he going to take from the rich, he's going to take from the middle class and give to the poor. That's his whole plan. That's what he's going to do. That's how he's going to make it happen. I'm going to make $6 billion worth of new grocery stores that give away free food. And you magically growing this food in your backyard? Are these bricks and buildings just popping up?
And when there are no groceries, and there are lines because there are no food, because once you take over these grocery stores, there's no grocery stores. Once they shut down, once they don't have any food, that means there's no groceries in these communities.
That's right.
Just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have a very, very big, and he's adopted the attitude that there is no problem. There's no problem too big, right? In other words, his whole attitude is what we're going to do here is we are literally going to try and fix everything that is wrong. And here's a story right here. I'll read a little bit from it from Fox News. Mamdani victory speech draws concern as NYC mayor-elect vows no problem too large for government to solve. While delivering his victory speech on Tuesday night, New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani made a statement about the government's role in citizens' lives, sparking concerns from critics online. Quote, "We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about," Mamdani declared during remarks. Comments by the self-described democratic socialist, let's just be real, socialist, caught some people's attention. I'm from the government and I'm here to help, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wrote when reposting another user's post about Mamdani's comments. DeSantis's post appeared to be a reference to President Ronald Reagan's famous remark, and he felt nine most terrifying words in the English language are "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Now, Mike, once again, we know that the government is not efficient, and the government is probably one of the worst people to try and solve most problems. Mostly in most of the things in the areas he's talking about, if the government would get out of the way and let the market do its thing, a lot of those problems would be solved. Rents would be affordable because you let the market set the rent. We got a supply and we got a demand, and somewhere they're going to meet in the middle, and they're going to figure out what's the price that you're willing to sell it for that I'm willing to pay. And that's how you figure it out. That's literally understanding market-driven economies is that simple. But market-driven economies, at least in the real world, in the legitimate world, don't exist in New York City.
No, they don't, and it started in the '60s with the rent control. And listen, you're never going to solve the problem there as long as you have rent control, because you have some apartments right next to each other's that might be $10,000 and one might be $700 a month because it got locked in rent control. You're never going to see any type of equilibrium at all in the housing market there because of that.
Well, right.
It is, again, if you let the market do it, it will settle itself. It will cause it will bring people that have drive, that have motivation to make a profit, to find a way to succeed. But when you're playing with the house's money, you're the government, and all you have to do is pull from somewhere else and take from other people. It's good. You know what you're going to end up with? You're going to end up with Detroit, where people just say, you know what, goodbye, and they left.
Well,
and listen, go to downtown Detroit, where they grow corn in vacant lots in the center of downtown. This is great news for Philadelphia, by the way. This is great news for Boston.
Yeah, because that's where they're going to wind up going. But
yeah,
take some time, if you guys ever get a chance, go and read some Thomas Sowell, and he writes a lot about understanding things like rent control and minimum wage. It doesn't do the things that you think it does. Price floors or price ceilings don't work. What they do is they create a divide between supply and demand. If I can't earn a profit, guess what I don't do? I don't build housing. If I can't make money, I don't build housing. That's just simple, because I'm not going to lose money so that someone else can have a house. That's not how business works. If I own property and I can't sell it because the value keeps going down, well, guess what I'm also not going to do? If I can't raise your rent, then when expenses go up to keep the place fixed up, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to fix it up. So you wind up now with substandard housing. So you have a lack of housing, and then you have substandard housing. And that, by the way, is just for the folks who just don't decide, you know what, I'm going to kick all my tenants out, I'm going to turn it into condos, and I'm just going to sell, I'll just wind up just selling the whole building out. That also happens. And then guess what? You even more, there's a difference between supply and demand. It is completely and utterly idiotic. This stuff never works, and they're going to find out about it real quick.
Yeah, and tack onto that the healthcare there in New York City, right? Listen, you see what's going on, what's happened in California, right? Look what happens when you burn through the money that was given to you to supplement citizens' healthcare, not illegals, right? And look what's going on in the House and Senate right now with the government being shut down, because the right has said, we're not giving you free money anymore. Because remember, the Obamacare, the Health Care Act, is not working. There have been supplements after supplements after supplements to make up for the money that was not supposed to raise your insurance costs and let you keep your doctors. That's why the right has said, they're standing firm on this and said, no,
let Obamacare go its path. Let it go its path, because here's the thing. We're not talking about, when you talk about providing these subsidies, your healthcare premiums are not going up, right? You're now paying the full price for your premiums.
Correct.
That's the difference, right? The premiums have been going up ever since Obamacare was created because it doesn't pay for itself. And the government's been subsidizing it, and Republicans are like, you know what? No, this idea, the ACA, Obamacare, it either needs to pass or fail, live or die on its own.
That's right. Exactly right.
Especially since we know you're going to use some of that money for illegal immigrants.
The majority of it is.
Well, there you go. Well, so one of the other messages that kind of came out of this, and this was something that the DNC chair, and once again, I tried to pull down the video, did not have time to actually find it, but he went on CNN and literally had the nerve to say that people, well, I have here, nobody cares about social issues, but he literally said, DNC chair, no one gives a shit, well, I might as well say it now, shit about cultural issues anymore. During CNN's election night coverage on Tuesday, DNC chair Ken Martin said that the election results that evening show that the Republican Party's playbook of running on all these cultural issues doesn't work anymore because no one gives a shit about that. What they care about right now is they care about the kitchen table issues. Martin said the Democratic Party is back. Ha ha. And the message to Republicans right now is you better figure it out because the old playbook that you have running on all these cultural issues, no one gives a shit about that. What they care about right now is they care about the kitchen table issues. They care about the fact that they can't afford their rent, a problem caused by Democrats. They care about the say they can't afford their groceries, a problem that Democrats created. They're worried about health care, a problem that Democrats created. They're worried about how they're going to actually get ahead in life. Once again, problem created by Democrats. And they want someone to stand up and fight. Um, so they believe that their people are going to vote for the Democrats to get up and stand and fight against themselves because I mean, if you want to know about all this, the ACA is what's driven up healthcare costs. So that's inflation was driven up by Democrats and Democrat policies. They're the ones who did that. They're the ones who made it expensive as hell to be able to both get gas, get fuel, get energy out of the ground, and to refine it. Every issue that's here that they talked about, grocery, same thing. All of these issues were all issues created by Democratic policies. And Republicans need to stand up and say, no, we're right on the kitchen table issues too. But if you don't think that people are concerned about some of these cultural issues, Mr. Democrat, Mr. Chair of the DNC, then you just keep thinking that because the midterms aren't going to go too good for you.
They haven't learned, Craig. They have not learned. Their whole plan has been, if I say it, people will believe it. If I say it, people will believe it. And they're continuing to do that now. More lies that they're going to continue to say and hope that people believe it because they happen to take two races that they had one hands down, no matter what, and they're going to try and say that look, we this would be one thing if they came in and won the governorship in Texas and Florida. No, that's not what happened.
No. Yes, if you're correct. If they had won in any major state, in particular one where there was a purple state, the closest they had was Virginia, and Virginia is deep purple. And quite frankly, while I agree with her on a lot of her issues, I don't think their former lieutenant governor or their current lieutenant governor was the best candidate to be running for governor.
There's states like this, Craig. There's Virginia,
Right.
there's North Carolina, there's West Virginia, whereas they're going to vote red or purple on local and state elections.
Right.
But when it comes to federal elections, they're red. They want those protections. They
Right.
don't. They're not looking for you to get involved in their business. They just want you to just keep providing, keep our borders safe, and keep our country free. That's all we want.
There you go. There you go. Now, another big thing happened today, and I don't know, Mike, if you had a chance to listen at all to some of the conversations this morning during or the deliberations. There you go. What do you want to call it? Oral arguments on the Supreme Court. But let's just be honest. And I think most of us anticipated this. It says here, Trump administration faced deeply skeptical Supreme Court on tariff arguments. And I don't care if you were talking to someone on the right or the left. They all seem to be a little. They all seem to be a little. Well, how shall we put it? Concerned. It says here in the most significant economic case to reach the Supreme Court in years, Trump's authority to issue emergency tariffs faced deep skepticism from key conservatives, including Chief Justice John Roberts, not really a conservative, and Justices Comey Barrett, Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh. While justices had tough questions for both sides, a majority expressed reservations about the administration relying on declared emergencies to issue unchecked tariffs. As plaintiffs presented their case, Kavanaugh repeatedly noted that the courts had previously allowed then-President Richard Nixon to use similar emergency powers to impose tariffs during his administration. Both sides both sides previously framed the appeal in existential terms, with Trump warning that a ruling against him could have catastrophic consequences for the nation's economic health. The companies, the companies changing the policy say the on again, off again tariff announcements have driven costs and uncertainty to intolerable levels. Now, once again, understanding that this is CNN that's reporting on this particular one, I do agree that the on again, off again. If there's a reason why kind of the markets have been up and down, it's the on again, off again. But I also know that prices haven't gone up because it's the on again, off again. In other words, the tariffs have barely been fully implemented. Uh, but I still will maintain that his goal has never been to institute the tariffs. His goal has always been to renegotiate the trade deals.
Yeah, exactly. With the tariffs being the tool to do so. And again, the on again, off again, Craig, is because of these, these rogue Democrat judges, and which is majority of the problem. I listened to some of the oral arguments today, and I don't know what CNN was listening to, but that's not what I heard. This is going to be a 6-3 or a minimum of 5-4 decision for Donald Trump here. They are concerned about the tariffs. They are concerned about the on again, off again part of it, but they are also these are constitutionalists, Craig. That's what they are, and the Constitution gives him that authority. They made Kavanaugh made the point. It wasn't illegal when Nixon did it. I don't see how it's illegal here. I mean, he didn't say that part, but he brought it up. He gave the example of it's been legal.
Well, he gave the example of it's been done before. I don't know that. So I don't know that the Supreme Court ever made a decision regarding whether it was legal, but the courts did give Nixon the authority to do it. Either way, if they strike it down, see part of the problem is that if they strike it down, if they strike these tariffs down, they might strike some of them down, they might strike none of them down, but will then the trade negotiations that are a part of that, will those be affected? I don't know if they will or they won't, but if they are, I think it opens a door to sit down and to go to Democrats and say, "Hey, unless you want to ruin our trade position in the world, let's ratify these." In fact, I don't know why they're not doing that now. Why they're not sitting down with Democrats and saying, "We need to ratify these trade deals, so whatever the Supreme Court decides, at least these trade deals stay in place."
Well, because half of them are too busy trying to get funding to illegal immigrants for healthcare and food. But Craig, let's be clear, we're not talking about every tariff that that is in place right now.
Exactly.
We're talking about a couple. We're talking about a very small, a very minority of it. All of these deals that have been struck throughout Europe and have been struck throughout Asia, those are rock solid. It's just the people that come along and say, "Well, we want to be play hardball, so we're going to put 100% tariffs on you." And he goes, "Oh, okay, well, 200 on you then."
Shame on your family. Shame on your pigs. Shame on your dog.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
All right, folks. Well, hey, that brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, this first one here comes to you from our friends over at the Babylon Bee. Fake news that you can trust. Zoran Mamdani horrified to discover he has a new job. I think this is like the closest thing to a real job he's ever had.
Yeah, I saw a story earlier today. They said, but if he wants to build, grocery stores and give away free food, he should come work as a stock boy first.
There you go. Probably so.
And the guy actually said, he goes, it'd be his first job.
There you go. By the way, speaking of jobs, I think a segment of the society, some folks there in Martha's Vineyard might be looking at a new job.
I found a solution for that. If they want to get upset about ICE deporting people, we can replace ICE with something more efficient. A bunch of crabby white ladies from Martha's Vineyard. Because when it comes to clearing out migrants, nobody does a better job than they do.
True. We need to...
Yeah. A very, very good point. Very, very good point.
Cleaned them out in a day, remember?
in a day. A bunch of
Yeah.
liberal Martha Vineyard liberal white women.
Yep.
There you go. Here's another one from our friends over at the Babylon Bee. State Department issues travel advisory for New York City.
Yeah, it's true. Now, I'd say you could still go to Staten Island, but yeah, it's time to bail on the other.
Time to
boroughs.
build a wall there in Staten Island.
Yep. Well, luckily for Staten Island, it's an island, so they just got to put a toll on the bridge. Oh wait, there's already one there.
An island, the greatest mountain. Yeah, it's mine.
It's my island.
Okay, and then this last one, and this kind of explains why people had such a hard time figuring out who to vote for. New York's elderly Jews torn between a man who would kill them for being Jewish and a man who would kill them for being old.
Yep, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Gotta love the folks over at the Babylon Bee. They're good stuff. By the way, let me just say that if you're not a member, if you don't subscribe to Babylon Bee, do this. Go over there. I never read any of the stories. I literally just read the headlines. I don't have to subscribe to read the headlines. I just want to make sure they have money to keep doing what they're doing. So when you have conservative media outlets, please support them because we need them to continue to exist. And a lot of media outlets are losing money. So if you get a chance, if you got someone that you like the message and the stuff that they're putting out, please make sure you go support them. You know, kind of like, supporting the Rundown, right? We rely on them. So, help them out. Help them out.
Folks, did you see how Craig asked for you to contribute money for a good cause? He didn't say, I'm taking your money and giving it to someone else. See there? That right there is Craig DeLuz, not Zoltan Moldani.
Not Zoltan. Moldani? You say Zoltan Moldani?
Whatever his name is.
So he went from an Muslim Indian from Africa to what would that be? Zoltan? What would that be? A Russian Italian?
That makes sense in New York.
That would make sense in New York. It would.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Make sure you get over there. Our barrels, pistol barrels, rifle barrels, whatever you want. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want any field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it is, get your group together, get your agency together, get on over to uscombatgear.com where you get everything except the gun.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.